Not heard me play the old keys before. I'm not a very good keyboard player, I want to say, but I make it work. And the thing is, if you're like slightly bad at an instrument, there's a likelihood that you're going to get something unexpected out of it if you just push past what boundary your understanding is. And so I get interesting and unreliable things out of such an instrument. Let's keep it on the clav. I like the clav. Something like that, isn't it? Apparently, for that one, there's just endless extra takes of whatever the right hand is doing, just over and over and over again, layered on top of each other to make that crazy groove. Anyway, it's time for you to cry. Or as Andrew Tate, everyone's favourite horrible individual, says, it's time for water to come from your eyes. Because that's what we're having a look at today. Water from your eyes. What to say about water from your eyes? Well, they're very interesting. They're a very unusual group. There's just two of them. There they are, Nate Amos and Rachel Brown. Presumably Rachel, one on the left there. And Nate, therefore, the one on the right. Yeah, experimental pop it says here, and that is only really tip of the iceberg with what's going on here. I wouldn't even say that pop is really appropriate. So I first found out about them with somebody else's song, which looks like it's their third album. And what I would say with this one is that there are two specific sides. There's the I guess indicated by this cover. There is the side of just bland purple, which is sort of okay but makes relatively dull, predictable songs. And then there is this splash of indecipherable insanity that clouds quite a lot of the rest of it, and you have them mostly separated but encroaching on each other. And then I had 33 minutes 44, and I've not gone back to it, but this is just crazy experimental music. I think, quite a wide variety of weird textures in there. A really cool thing that I definitely want to listen to again. And then I think they really got some more press with Structure. And Structure had some pretty strong songs on. And I would suggest that's probably the best place to start with them. And then Everyone's Crushed, I think, just added on to that somewhat with a song called Structure. I really like 14 from this album. I think 14 is their best song, and it's pretty straightforward. Just a beautiful piece of music. So expecting pretty much more of the same from this, but then again, with each of those releases, there's a particular aesthetic, I think, that fits them, and it's not easy to see what's going to happen with this one. But to make it slightly more visually appealing, let's have a look at what I have prepared for the visual side. Look, I know you don't. This is not very interesting to look at. It's not very high quality, but if you had some musical bingo to look at too, would that help, do you think? maybe it would. Here's where we're departing from the extremely aggressive, intense intellectualism that has until now clouded this channel. Now we're going into, does it have these things? Oh, I got a line. Oh, I got a house. I can't remember what a house is. It might just be all of it, but then I think they probably say bingo at that point, don't they? But we know what a line is. Anyway, we're just gonna see how many of these things come up. We've got loads of different things. Admittedly, they are cribbed from what's most likely to happen. Still, there's a little bit of unlikeliness that it would happen in Aurora songs, so it may not be perfectly appropriate for Water From Your Eyes. If it isn't, that's okay. Let's have a listen. One small step is going to be a very short beginning, so I imagine this is not going to have a lot of the features. Time. It's not every time. I have got it the last few times. Right, we need to start that again. Wow, what is that then? Starting off very much strong. No fade in here. Definitely can't tick that one off. Wow. So what have we got? We've basically got flutes going, but also you've got this bass sound, bow. Yeah, it might be some level of distorted distorted kick drum kind of thing. Let's hear it again. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Do I want to spend too much time explaining what's going on here? I don't really, but yeah, there's about 4 different main things. Yeah. Okay. So one of them is in B major, and it's doing this kind of thing. And it's relatively slow in comparison to the others. And relatively low. It's in that middle bit of the texture. Then we've got something on the left, which is a little bit higher and a little bit faster. It's around there with that. And they've all got this very breathy sound to them. This so we get the breath sound, and then the note comes later, which is, you know, something that happens with a flute. Other blown instruments, a shakuhachi, kind of has one at the end as well, which is always fun. Yeah, blown non-reed instruments, I suppose, is what this sounds like. And then we've got one higher one, which is up here. Basically doing that. But as well as those things, that one there, and that one there, all of which spell out a nice B9 chord. As well as those things going on, we have kind of phasing relationships with themselves. So it sounds like there's sort of 2 different bits doing this, and they're going in and out of time with each other. So it's impossible for me to really show what's going on there, but like, so if they start in time like this, and then one starts going a little bit faster than the other, and then yeah, then you just get some complicated stuff before they then are getting close again. and then they're the same. I'm not entirely sure if you actually heard what that was just then, but the point is that when you start in time and then you get slightly out of time, you get this interesting rhythmic and also melodic relationship between the two things that becomes sort of uncanny, uncomfortable to hear to begin with, and then it sort of settles into different grooves at different times. It's so dense with slow rhythmic change like this that I couldn't begin to explain what's happening from moment to moment. But I think it's basically phasing relationships with each of these main three things, along with that boom at the bottom. Yeah, and the fifth actually doesn't feel like it's quite there. Feels a little bit high. Something like that. A little bit high, so we're not getting a perfect, clear major chord, because there's this little bit of uncomfortability around the fifth, which is weird. On that lower one, that it feels like we start on the flat six there before coming down, which is an interesting extra thing. Oh, and a sudden bit of guitar at the end on that F sharp, that confusing fifth there. Everything else stops and that just bursts through. Well, sorry to start the bingo on a low, but I don't think we can really give it any of those. Let's see, there's no real hook. You could argue there is. Alright, why not let's give it hook. No pre-chorus, echoes and delay. Well, absolutely. Descant, no. Terminal, no. I guess there's a terminal. With a bit of guitar there. Second chorus has new section. Coda has multiple sections. No. Hybrid section. No. Drop from chorus to bridge. Piano. First chorus repetition. Effective vocals. Descant. Well, I mean, they could potentially be effective vocals. Why not? Let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Building noises between sections. Sadly not. That's something they could have done, but they weren't there. One moving part in hook. No. One moving part in verse. No. One moving part in bridge. No. 8-bit synths, no. Plucky bright synths, no. Poorly defined section, yes. Second verse sections shorter, no. Smooth, silky, velvety synths, no. Sudden drop in outro, kind of, yeah. We'll give it that. Metallic synths, second chorus longer. Building noises between sections, as we said, and fade in. Okay, so I don't know. We got 6 out of 25. We didn't get any lines there. Let's get rid of those. Get a nice score of 6 out of 25. For that first song, that is its objectively determined value. Life Signs. It was good. Sorry, being serious for a moment. I think that's a really interesting way to begin an album. What do those flutes sort of signify? Hard to say. I mean, some connection to Steve Reich and the minimalism that happened during the 70s and 60s and 80s and later, but specifically with a real boost around those times. Yeah, there's definitely a connection there to that style of music, but also I don't know, the low bass drum is, I guess, a connection to more modern music, to electronic music specifically, electronic dance music or hip hop. So we're really pulling from two different places in that beginning there and making something quite new. And then there's also the guitar at the end. So that that is another connection to another style of music, but they're really symbolic rather than explicit. I should get a creak after I say everything important. Difficult to control. Never mind. Life signs then. Let's hear it again. Okay, we've got a repeating riff here. That's fun. We've got it in fifths. Makes sense if I had a guitar today. I think that's what it is. So we start up on F and C, and we go down to E and B. So that's a semitonal relationship with both of those, just power chords. It's just very quick off the first one, mainly on the second one. Same thing with the next part. That's C and G going to B and F sharp. So that's the 5 of the key. If E is our root, 1, 7, 6, 5, and then we get the low one, which is the same, F and C, E and B. So we've got these 3 different sections doing exactly the same thing on different notes. Da 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 da. And that gives us a sort of irregular rhythm. Not very irregular, but more irregular than your average, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Da 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 da. Oh, it's not even that. Da 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 da. It's 9. 9 beats. Let's hear it again. Except it's not even that. That would be if there were equal beats. Da 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 da. But there's not that much space there. It's shorter than 1 and 2 and 3. It's actually 5s. Da 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 da. Oh god. Da 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 da. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 3 is 15. So that's how many we've got. 15 beats here, and it's 3 sets of 5. Ooh, irregular. Oh, come on now. Oh, and also I got that last one wrong. It's not. It's just down 1 there, I think. That's what I think it is. And that does make it a little more interesting, actually. Let's hear it again. Okay. There's actually more going on. There's actually more going on. But the first 2 times... Yeah, the first 2 times do the same thing, which is that. So there are main chords that we settle on. E power chord, B power chord, and A power chord. So those 3 are the main things in E. 1, 5, and 4, main chords in E. But we don't have any of their thirds. And each of them comes with a semitonal relationship, a poggiatura, if you like, a held thing that comes down to the correct pitch for the bar. And so yeah, we start a semitone higher there, a semitone higher on the 5th. That sort of suggests that we're in Phrygian mode. But that wouldn't even work itself, because already we've got an F sharp there and an F at the beginning. F at the beginning, F sharp there. So we're already doing something quite chromatic, even with those 2 chords, and then we make it further chromatic with the next two that come after, where we have the F again. We also have a B flat down here, nestled between the A and the B. So already in this first 5-second segment we have heard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different notes. No, 9 different notes. 9 out of 12 notes. So this is not going to be your average rodeo. And we're in 5. So bets are off. There's no telling what's going to happen from here. Anyway, we stopped it here because something new was going to happen when we carried on. Yeah. So after those 5s, and we get and we get that twice. Then we go down to the low octave there, and then we repeat that. But as we repeat it, another guitar comes in. Let's just briefly, I guess, talk about the drums as well. Acoustic drums, real drums. At least, could be samples, but they are clear samples of an acoustic kit. We've got a ride cymbal going all the time. Not necessarily being played all the time, but it's constantly there. And we've got just otherwise a relationship between kick drum and snare. So we've got snare, kick, kick, snare, kick, and that's basically it. So it's yeah, gosh, wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's it. I'm not a good enough drummer to play that myself. Even though we have drums behind me, I'm not going to. Oh, weird. Now we're settled into a repetition of 4 bits of guitar. We've settled into that in this next section with pretty simple other guitar over the top, much clearer sort of guitar. I wouldn't say either of them are particularly distorted, but this one is ringing out. It's not just doing these low, slightly palm muted strums. Okay, and then we've got some more guitars coming in. Let's, for the last time, listen to that beginning, that soft beginning. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's silly. Okay, yeah, so even there we came in early from what we were expecting. So the whole intro, we had 3 to begin with. 1, 2, 3. Then we had 4. 2, 3, 4. 1 more of those. Then we jumped back up. And we had 4 again. Then we had 3. And then we were into the big guitars. I think I might have mistaken one thing there, so I'm going to go back. 3, 4, 5. No, yes, sure. So when that goes, it does jump back up, but it's the same notes, so it wasn't so clear to me. So that's 4, and then 3, and so here we're playing the same riff. But we've lost the ride cymbal because I guess in that higher frequency area now there's a lot more distorted guitar to fill it. It doesn't quite do the same job, and the distorted guitar itself sounds a little bit sort of it sounds like it's missing its low end to some degree. It's got a sound, hasn't it? Nasal kind of We've also got that multi-tracked several times. There's a really thick guitar wall. I can't hear any bass, so I think it's really just the drums and the guitars. It seems foolish not to continue without a guitar. It seems foolish to continue without a guitar. Unfortunately, I have one right here. And what let's even get a bit of a... I wasn't expecting this much guitar from these guys. How's that on the levels? It's probably a little high. Okay, sure. Alright, anyway, we've got a complicated riff here. What's going on here? That's the first bit. Yeah, this is something. One of those two. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's hear it all again. Okay. Really close, isn't it? Something like that. Okay. Let's see if I can play it. Oh, I just want to do that. No. Feel right now. Ah, yeah. That's nice. Okay, we get some bass that comes in that next bit too. Alright, okay. Turning round. It's fast. It's fast. I've done this previously for Psychedelic Porn Crumpets and someone liked it, so I'm gonna carry on, even though I think this is boring myself. Boring to watch, but nonetheless. Yeah, I managed that first bit. Okay, one more time. So what time signature is that in? That feels like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. But then it waits there for a bit. Only for that long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So that's 5 really, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 plus 2 plus 1, 7. 5 and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, but how would we split it up? I would be tempted to think of that 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So that would be a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Because we need to split up those more complicated time signatures so that we can understand them in more simplistic terms. That's I think the longer sort of beat lengths that we've got as a 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. Right. So overall there's 5 beats there anyway, but they are irregular lengths. We've got some that are 2 beats long, some that are 3 beats long. It's an interesting piece of music. And is it interesting how we completely changed texture there as well? We changed to just the guitar. And we've had this really heavy guitar noise beforehand that all dissipates immediately. And then, as the bass comes in, playing exactly the same riff, it doesn't really deviate from the texture. It doesn't add any more reverb or anything like that. We keep that dry, straightforward sound. The bass is very punchy. The guitar feels just a little bit crunchy. Like it's got a little tiny bit of distortion on it, but it's pretty clear. It's just not got much high end otherwise. It's not very bright. So a little bit lower to, I guess, make room for the vocals. And then the drums also come in, and they're not playing anything particularly complicated, I think. Yeah, so what's fun is we've got the hi-hat going on every beat there. And the more complicated stuff happens in the relationship between the kick drum and the snare, which is quite complicated and a little bit off what you would expect. It starts relatively straightforward. Yeah, so that boom boom da da da. That's relatively simple, isn't it? Yeah, it's that that first offbeat snare though that gets you. And then actually the bass isn't doing the same riff, at least not after the beginning. Yeah, the bass is only doing a little bit of each bit, so it goes. And then what does it do after that? So the bass is more locked in with what the kick drum is doing, which is really fun. It's sort of contributing extra bits of the guitar riff when the kick drum goes in line with it. That's crazy, really fun stuff. Okay, now let's talk about the vocals. We've really got. I mean, she has a wonderful voice, I think. I've just forgotten her name. Let's see if it says it up here. Nope, that's quite annoying. Rachel Brown. I think Rachel Brown has a wonderful voice. It is so so indicative of a particular style of music as well. It feels really connected to sort of Mouldy Peach's homespun folk music from the early 2000s. That's where I think of this voice coming from. I don't know that Rachel Brown has any connection to that, but her voice really sits in that place. And so even though it's in this incredibly experimental, unusual piece of music, I wouldn't say incredibly, but I would say experimental, unusual piece of music. And I did say experimentally, but I will take it back. Even though it's nestled in this, I think it's got this more approachable feel to it. That said, I'm not going hard on the melody here.
Go to hell, take the train, generations, learn impatience.
Oh yeah, we should probably talk about what notes are being used by the guitar, shouldn't we? So we've got B, C, A, and then we get F and G sharp and E, and then we get D. That's the only one that's added in the second half of the riff. So that gives us anyone recognize it? Phrygian sharp third. E is our root notes, because we keep coming back to it. Yeah, E is our root note, so then we go up a semitone to F, and then we have this jump from F to G sharp. In lots of contexts, it's coded upsettingly as the specific scale for the Middle East, but realistically it's one of it's connected to let's be charitable and say one of the most characterful scales that come, or sort of, even scales is not really appropriate, but like you find it in Syrian maqams and you find it in I think Iranian music, you find it all over the place, but specifically it's the sort of Hijaz thing that you get, which has this, I think it's slightly higher, somewhere like that, so it feels not quite like that, but more like that. So it's a little bit softer as regards the crazy jump here, but in Western music we approximate it to a 12-tone thing, so we get that strange relationship there. Anyway, that's what's being used. So it has this, I don't know, what does it have? Subjectively, how do you feel about that particular sound? I think the way it's treated here sounds quite lumpy and abrasive, and deals in the lack of expectation you have. Because we have all these interesting jumps, that kind of thing, and then that kind of thing. Which is interesting by itself, actually, sort of hinting towards a French sixth there, also known as a sharp 11 chord, or a dominant seventh with a flat fifth. Oh, so much stuff. I'm just on the 35th second of this. I've been going for 40 minutes. Okay, we're not going to go super crazy here, but the thing that I stopped for was that the vocals, despite us being sort of rooted on E, the vocals are keeping that B flat going on. Yes, which is a note I missed out. A note I missed out of my appraisal of the riff. Somehow. But yeah, in the second half we do get the B flat. Okay. Oh dear. Rewriting. The first part is based in E Phrygian. The second part is based in the whole tone scale. Then again, we don't get the most shocking note there, which would be the F sharp. We just get the second most shocking note, which is the B flat. Anyway, they're both quite uncomfortable, quite unusual scales to be heard, and in quick succession is a really strange thing to happen. So it sounds like this lumpy, angular guitar riff. We've become familiar with those after all of the math rock listening sessions that all of us have done over our lifetimes. We're familiar with it. It's not that unusual. Anyway, we've got this kind of happening, just powering out that B flat, even though at the beginning we don't have that B flat. It's only in the second half of the riff that we have it. Here we've got it from the vocals straight away.
Some kind of strife in the city, and now or then, one night of life I take with me. Hours.
It's really not quite there either. It might be closer to the A actually, which would make it in the first half less abrasive. But then in the second half, where we've got A flat and B flat, slightly more. But it's drifting. It's in this uncomfortable area, and it doesn't care if it's in tune or not.
Tick tick, you're alive, sunlit, six skyscraper, bright-eyed, short-sighted, online, fourth eye, cathedrals unbuilt, rebuilt.
Okay, interesting how that felt like a section change. What made it sound like a section change?
Online, fourth eye, cathedrals unbuilt.
It's the doubled vocal, so there's another vocal coming in that shows us something new is happening here. The riff stays the same. The drums don't have any kind of flair going on here. They just stay the same. So let's call that our verse section then.
Online, fourth eye, cathedrals unbuilt, rebuilt, unwavering.
We've got that crazy guitar boomer bend. What is it? On a distorted guitar, so I've got the E and the A bends up to B. Do it there. Or there. So we get that scratchy sound with the bend as it goes into tuning. It goes through unpleasant out of tune notes and into a pocket of tuning. But it really is jumping in the texture and then disappearing. We've got no reverb on it that I can hear. So it's just coming and then disappearing and then coming and then disappearing, which is interesting. Again, the vocals in this section, the melody, what is the melody? There isn't really one. They're just speaking pretty much. Yeah, it's almost like rap, and we've got an unconventional rhyme scheme as well. After different amounts of syllables. Let's hear it just one more time, and we'll try and work out what's going on there. So cathedrals of note, unfilled. I don't know, but unfilled is sort of our first ill rhyme. Rebuilt, unwavering guilt. So that's rebuilt is just 2. Unwavering guilt, 5. Pools of rain having spilt, 6. Subject until 4, I'm unfulfilled. 4.
I'm in a beautiful place.
Now I think that's the end of that particular rhyme scheme. So yeah, it's just however many, but they all have the same rhythm. Da 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 da. It's just these quavers. Ba da 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 ba da 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 ba. And then they have the gap of one quaver after. So as far as rapping going, it's not the most interesting or complex flow, but it is certainly consistent.
I'm so sad in this beautiful place. I need you here right now in this beautiful place.
Okay, so this feels like a chorus actually, doesn't it? Here right now in this beautiful place, I need you here right now in this beautiful place. That sounds like it's rhythmically comfortable. Here right now in this beautiful place, I need you here. It's an 8, so it can't possibly fit appropriately over the top of this guitar, can it?
Pools of rain, heaven's filled, subject till I'm unfulfilled. I'm in a beautiful place. Yeah, it's so sad in this beautiful place. I need you here right now in this beautiful place. Can you resurrect a cloud? Can you claim its fate?
It did seem to be. So place. We're looking for what happens on place in the other guitar.
Heaven's filled, subject till I'm unfulfilled. I'm in a beautiful place. Yeah, it's so sad in this beautiful place. I need you here right now in this beautiful place. Can you
Yeah. So it is different place. It's a different place, a beautiful place, but nonetheless a different place every single time we get back to the word place. Sometimes it's on. Sometimes it's that place, and sometimes it's that place, and sometimes it's on that place. So, without going too deep, oh, that's the name of the album. Nice. Without going too deep, that's what's going on. It's again a phasing relationship. We've got this 8-bar thing, along with this 8-beat thing, along with this 7 plus 5 beat thing equals 12. So they sync and unsync, or maybe they never sync. Regardless, they change relationship as it goes on. And then suddenly,
resurrect a cloud? Can you claim its fate?
okay, so I feel like we've had 2 sections of the intro. One is with this heavy riff, which got heavier, and then we had this more angular riff, which then was the same thing we had through those 3 other sections we just had there. We had a verse, I think a pre-chorus and a chorus, although the line between the chorus and the pre-chorus is pretty unclear, so maybe we could just lump those in as one section. And now we've got something vastly different to that coming in here. Okay, we've still got the same kind of instrumental palette, but the guitars sound very different, don't they? We haven't got that low, chuggy sound now. We've got a big, wide, bright, or more bright, kind of jangly sound in the left ear, while the bass, I think, is playing a lot higher in the right ear. Could be a guitar, in fact I think it's a guitar, but it sounds maybe a little bit close. It sort of sounds like it's through a pretty cheap amp, because we've got this sort of, I don't know, lo-fi sound to it. It doesn't feel pristine in a way that you can quite easily make guitars sound, so I'm sure it's deliberate. I'm not trying to damn them because of this. It's suddenly got dark in here, has it? Maybe it's been dark since the beginning, but I only just noticed because my... Okay, well the light refuses to. Never mind. Yeah, anyway, they're playing higher. One's playing chords, one's playing basically the same melody as the voice, but in the in the right ear and an octave lower. What's the difference? The main difference with the drums is we've got hi-hat, which actually sounds like it's electronic hi-hat here.
In this beautiful place, can you resurrect
So this is very clearly a normal acoustic hi-hat.
a cloud? Can you claim its fate?
whereas this sounds much more like it's a programmed sound. In fact, maybe that's true of the bass, the kick drum, and the snare too. They sound a little bit more curt and curtailed. Okay, well, sudden exit for that section as well as a sudden entrance. But it's nice, isn't it? It's a nice change of pace, keeps you on your toes. Very straightforward melody, really. It's in two different parts. Okay, pentatonic, only 3 notes there. And then it basically repeats the same thing down there. Same thing, just down a fifth. Straightforward thing to do. And then suddenly we shift up a semitone. Is that what we're doing? Yeah. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're out. Strange bit of slidey guitar work that I'm not going to go into right now for the sake of time. Yeah, so we had 3 repetitions of the same thing over different chords, one of which was out of key with the others, and then we're bringing back the verse section. Have we got so far any of this musical bingo? We definitely didn't get a fade in. Building noises between sections we haven't got. Affected vocals, not really. So far, not a terminal, but we'll look out for it. I would say hook / riff. We've got one of them. We haven't got metallic synths. Second chorus, we don't know if it's longer. Should we call that happy bit a chorus? I think we probably shouldn't. I think what we should call that is it's probably a middle 8, even though it's not 8 long. It's probably a middle 8. Echoes or delay? No, not really. We haven't got any stuff like that. Pre-chorus, we almost had pre-chorus. I'm gonna knock it off. Second chorus has a new section, we'll see. Verse chorus repetition does seem so right now. One moving part in hook. Yeah, that is the case. Smooth, silky, velvety synths, no. Sudden drop in outro, don't know. Poorly defined section, yes, already. Second verse section shorter, don't know, we'll see. One moving part in verse, no. Kind of. No, the melody, such that it is, has its own rhythm doing very specific things. Coda, we don't know. Piano, we don't know. Hybrid section, arguably, but I'm going to say no. Drop from chorus to bridge, no, not so far. One moving part in bridge, 8-bit synths, plucky bright synths. Alright, we haven't heard any synths so far. We're not looking good for those ones. Anyway, we're back into second verse, aren't we? So what's different is that we've got that guitar already. We've got that already in here.
Return to memory, to land to a vision, to save a tradition, imagine it different, a natural condition.
We've got an actual bit of a repetitive rhythm there. A natural condition, imagine it different. That's nice, but again, it's phased because that isn't the right amount of beats to fit over this properly. Sorry about that.
And nerve recognition, atomic collision, it's fragment prediction, so it was forgiven, or maybe it isn't.
Okay, no other, no repetition of beautiful place there, so maybe that first section really is just just one long section, but it did have a switch where we got that extra vocal doubling and that extra guitar, so I wouldn't say they're the same section there. So maybe this is just a repetition of that second section instead of the first section, and then we'd get into arguments about whether we have repeated the chorus or the verse, but I would say it's more of a verse because there's no repetition of even the melodic rhythmic phrasing, let alone melody or texture. So I'd say it was a verse, but yeah, poorly defined sections is definitely happening here, but this sounds like it's going to our, well, middle eight. Actually, probably this is our chorus, isn't it? So far, exactly what we'd expect actually, but it sounds like it's going to carry on in that space a bit longer. Yeah. So this is our beginning place. Satie's gymnopody or whatever, and then we just shift up. So there's our A chord, there's our E chord. Something like that. Something like that. It actually, yeah, you'd be tempted to think these were really lush major 7 chords. That is kind of what they sound like. But actually, that last one there is more like, yeah, it's more like a flat 13 chord. I can't really show you that on here. Try on here. So there, you've got this D minor with this added note. They're really lush chords anyway. I think there's more stuff in there. Yeah, definitely got that going on with that. And it goes up to that and comes down to that. So overall in this chord, we've got all that. The only thing we're missing maybe is an E. Let's see if there's an E. There might be. Anyway, not to get too complicated there, but we have this comfortable relationship between what for E's I will call the A major 7 and major 9. Major 13. We have a very comfortable relationship between those that then becomes less so on that chord as we get a big semitonal shift between the two things. Yeah, the two first chords can exist in the same key together, and so when we get to that second one, it's a real shift, and then that shorter bar afterwards is weird, isn't it? It sounds like the beginning to That'll Be the Day by Buddy Holly. You say goodbye, yes, then. That's not the right. That'll be the day when you say. Yeah, I think it is about here. Say goodbye, yes. So it's this kind of weird rockabilly style rock and roll riff. Yeah. I don't think it gets down to the G sharp there though. Yeah. And then back to our intro riff. Goodness me, we've had an unusual outing with this one so far. A really curious song, and we are less than half the way through, and we have done an hour. Okay, this is very like the beginning. But I suppose I should talk about the previous section. We had, I think, 3 repetitions of the same material, but the first 2 had vocals, and the second one, the vocal line was replaced by a guitar sliding around. It sounded quite ducky, kind of wooden sounding, nasal kind of sound from that guitar, which is a texture we haven't heard so far. So that was interesting. This sounds very much like the beginning. Second guitar has come in just like the beginning. There's the heavy guitars, just like the beginning. But it's longer. So we had a longer set there. Longer. There were more da-da-da-das. Okay, and now it sounds like we're going to carry that on with the bass, which may well have been lingering under that in the same octave as the guitar anyway, while the guitar goes for the higher stuff. Or those double stops. Oh yeah, this is a classic. Yeah, like all the classic blues guitarists, blues rock guitarists. Plays a big role in Freebird, doesn't it? Yeah, just that particular bend with those. Yeah, lovely stuff, thank you. Yeah, and as it's going on, they're bending down that higher note, so they keep the lower note. So they keep these 2 top notes where they are, and that low note, they start with their bent up, and then it slowly comes down. Lovely, fun, characterful. And back up again. Okay, that's some crazy stuff. So the key we're in really here is E with these, you know. With those, it's E. But this particular bit of guitar is there now. There's the E. And there's an F. And there's an E flat. It's hard to even make those sound right on a distorted guitar like that. Yeah, really noisy, crazy, atonal. Well, almost atonal. Oh yeah, it's just sliding it down. Oh, it's not even a slide, it's a bend. So we're starting here. The same kind of, yeah, country, blues, rock kind of guitar. There's a melody coming through there. Through the distorted guitar, there's some vocals as well. That's very hard to hear, actually. We've got the hi-hat back in the drums, haven't we? That electronic hi-hat, was that in the previous bit too? Yeah. So that is really adding to this shimmer of intense wall of noise. But mainly the guitar goes back to it's not that, is it? Yeah, fun fives. Anyway, the melody is coming through in a pretty straightforward rhythm. Da da ba da 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 da, and it's such a straightforward melody as well. It's so funny to hear that in juxtaposition to this intense, rhythmically dense music. Wow. And then we just get a bit of indulgence from the vocals there on the fives at the end. Choose fine, whatever they're saying. Let's hear it one more time. Yeah. I don't know if I was clicking in time there. That sounded terrible, that clicking. But yeah, I was feeling it. Oh, okay, so that's our intro section, but now it's been given a new meaning in the middle here. Is it our bridge? Yeah, it basically is our bridge, even if we're doing this by Aurora standards, which has become our sort of benchmark for composition of songs. We had a verse and a chorus and a verse and a chorus, and then we've got that section. So that looks like our bridge. Interestingly, the bridge has taken material from the intro, so we can cross off hybrid section. Lovely. Now, drop from chorus to bridge definitely did not happen. Actually, no, it did, because we went back to the softer side, so we've got that one moving part in bridge. Unfortunately, we cannot take that one. Are we going to get a line through here? I don't expect it. We've not got piano. That seems unlikely. Second chorus did have a new section. Hey, nice. And second chorus was longer. We've got both of those, which is not normally how it works. So we're really riding on. Coda has multiple sections here, aren't we? That's what we want to happen. Okay. There might be some more that I've missed, but I don't know. Anyway, let's go on. So it feels like we're going back to some familiar ground here. Interestingly, now the riff is being played entirely by the bass. We haven't heard that before because it was doing the cool thing in relationship to the kick drum, but now it's playing the whole riff itself. We've got still some electronic drums, and we've got seemingly a bit of guitar noise in the right headphone. Okay, we've got a bit of a mix actually in the drums. I think the kick drum and there's some toms there as well, I think. And the snare, they sound live, but the hi-hat definitely doesn't sound like it's the acoustic version. And then, yeah, we've got these hits in the same kind of way as the bass was doing, but now it's with the guitar. So the drums and the guitar are doing these combined strikes, unilateral strikes on the music. The only thing is they seem almost random. The guitar really is not doing anything specific. It seems to be playing in key, so that's something. And we've heard a cymbal for the first time in the drums there, so that's really going off the deep end. And this guitar in the right headphone, that's just going to a squeal of feedback now. Okay, so just a little bit of a new section there. Hard to code exactly what that is in terms of a standard song structure, but it is, you know, our, let's say, B section material just reversed, so that the bass is playing the riff and the guitar is doing kind of what the bass was doing in the previous section. But now it sounds like we've reverted back. The guitar is doing it. Oh, that's lovely. That I didn't notice that, but and then it goes to that. It really leads back into the into that chord, which is either an A major 7 or a C sharp minor 7. I could potentially be something else as well. Yeah, okay. I'm going to say C sharp minor 7 is what that is, although it feels more bountiful than that normally feels. Anyway, that's cool. We got one bit of the riff that then stopped, literal full silence, and then we got the harkening back to old style rockabilly. Yeah, not old style rock and roll. Not rockabilly, real. I guess you would get it in rockabilly, but you just get it about 10 times as fast. And then we're back into the chorus. Okay, so we've got some cymbals there, leading us into our third repetition of the chorus, even more than the second time. Okay, and then we've got into our sort of post-chorus, which has this ducky guitar tone. We've also got some acoustic guitar in there as well, those strums. There's some reverse things as well, going and then suddenly stopping in there as well, just to make it a little more soupy. Yeah, more of a complicated soundscape. Another repetition. No. Wow. Unexpected sudden ending. Beautiful. Beautiful, perfect cadence. Let's hear it again. That was so unexpected. And a slow. Yeah, it's not really perfect cadence, but it slides, that bends up, and then yeah. Wow. It's rare that something so twee can happen, but nonetheless works really, really nicely. And I guess at the end of such a intensely intellectual song, complex complex harmonies, complex rhythms, complex structure, you suddenly end on the most generic thing. That's also leading people down the garden path. It's leading them to an unexpected outcome. Really fun idea. Complicated, beautiful music. What's the chance I can get through another one? We'll give it a go. This one's shorter at least. That was really good. I'm gonna add that to my recent songs. Okay, Knights in Armour. Knights. You see what they've done there? Because it's like a night like you go to sleep in, rather than a night that you swears fealty to you. What do knights do? I don't know. Anyway, let's just, before we do finish our thing, we kind of had a coda right at the end, so I'm gonna take it. Coda did sadly not have multiple sections though, so we lost our line there. We didn't even get affected vocals. Did we get any echoes really? No. Descant, no. Building noises between sections, not really. Fade in, no. We didn't get a line. Sudden drop in outro, kind of. I'll allow it. But yeah, we're not getting a line here. I guess the second verse section was shorter too. So we did get a fair few of these, but we did not get that all-important line. How sad. Yeah, Coda has multiple sections. It could have happened, but it didn't. What a sad thing. Well, anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different sections. I deleted one early before counting, but I did count it. 11. 11 out of 25. That's a better score than the previous one, but not twice as good. Pull your socks up. Okay, Knights in Armour. Okay, well, we can immediately tick off echoes and delay, because what was going on there, I don't know, just going between those two notes, D and F, and going panning and changing texture entirely, really, changing atmosphere. Starts very close. There's a little bit of a as well at the top, so we kind of get 3 notes there. Then we get a bounce back again, and we're getting another set of repetitions. Okay, and then fade in. This feels, again, coded in a specific way. We've had a lot of different interesting symbolic representations of different genres here. This feels coded to sort of emo song. I don't actually know whether I could tell you why, but we could talk about the chords used. We've got these. This would happen in sort of power ballad stuff as well. Or in Jimi Hendrix, in fact. Something like that, that kind of thing happens. It's a very common chord sequence and has almost a medieval feel in certain circumstances, but this particularly feels melancholy and like a real tearjerker kind of chord sequence. I imagine we're not going to get many tears jerked here, because Water From Your Eyes, despite their name, seem quite aloof. The other thing is it's another crazy time signature, but I'm actually done. I'm done with those. Let's just let it be a crazy time signature. What else is going on though? Yeah, we had one guitar coming in on the end of that kind of thing at the beginning, which was clangy and jangly and up in this higher space, and then these heavy ones come through again, similar to what happened on the previous track. This is not what I was expecting from these guys. We've got a bass drum that has a proper click on it. It properly feels like a pop from some aggressive editing. Pop, pop. So you can hear that click in the high register as we go through here on the beat. We've still got that. We've still got that going on around here, but we've got those heavier guitars as well, and the bass and we're going mainly around those chords, which I don't know if I said, but they're E flat, F, and G minor. And going up them and going down them, and going up them and going down them. Yeah, it's an emotional area. Kate Bush uses it as well a lot, I think.
I just wanna fight you 'cause I'm tired.
Interesting. On the I just wanna, we had quite a disconnect between the two voices there. They were saying it at the same time, but they felt really disconnected. But then in the next section they come together for that simple melody. Fight you 'cause I'm tired. Same three notes that were mainly in the melody at the end of Life Signs as well. 3, 2, 1, 3 blind mice. This is the same harmonic material, played in a different way on much more jangly, bright guitars, and the bass is relatively high too. Not many drums. We also had an extra bit of melody there. Da 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 da. So keeping it pentatonic, straightforward major pentatonic stuff. Oh, but considering where is actually our root notes, G minor. It's actually minor pentatonic because that's where we're starting, but that's not actually where the nexus of the melody is. The melody is centered around the B flat here, so it sounds maybe a little brighter, a little happier than if it was centered around the root note of the G. If we were going something like that, that's darker, isn't it? Da 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 da. Whereas da 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 da. That's not quite as downbeat. It has a sweetness to it, a brightness to it.
Swipe me, I'm on fire.
My piano just the piano is okay. The stand just gave way a little bit, which is a bit disturbing. I think it should be all right from now.
It's expired. I find out you can last it. Your system was scarred, but to get so up there.
I've actually worked out what the time signature is, and it's just a straightforward 7. We've got 3 at the beginning, 4 at the end. Right? Something like that. Yeah. So it's 3 and 4. So that's not too complicated. Yeah, heavy distortion on the bass there. Did we hear that in the previous section? Kind of, but it's got the higher end taken out of it so that the guitars can shine, and then it's there in octaves as well. Really, really thick sound just for a moment there, and then we've got some hand claps. Yeah, this is fun. Let's turn the distortion off and let's have a go there. Sounds like there's quite a few guitars going on. Something like that, maybe one of them. Nice. Over the top as well. Yeah. But what's going on? Maybe rooted around this. Something like that. Yeah, wow. Fun just dance section there before we get back to the serious stuff. I would call that probably a hook. Boom. We haven't got a pre-chorus so far. Whoa! That's so fun! It doesn't sound like the same clicks we were getting from the kick drum in the previous section. They sound more under control here, but we've still got clicks on each of those, and it sounds like a kick drum still. So we've suddenly added another layer to the rhythmic complexity here, which before was basically about that fast was our complexity. But now we've added triplets on top, more or less like that. Yeah. So we've got triplets and we've got semiquavers, triplet semiquavers and normal semiquavers over the top of each other, making quite a complex lattice of rhythm. But at least the triplets, they're constant, so they're not trying any weird rhythm alongside. The guitar is already doing a weird enough rhythm, so together they would be intense. They already are. Oh, actually, it was in the previous section. How did I not notice that? I don't know. Anyway, it's in the hi-hat here. And it sounds really off with the semiquavers, because this is fast already. Right, so if that's our semiquaver, so that's our. It's not that fast actually, really, is it? But having those semiquavers at the same time that's weird. That's weird. It feels uncomfortable, off kilter. Yeah, crazy. So here we don't have the guitar, we just have the heavily distorted bass. It's given a bit more space to do that because the guitars aren't over the top. And we've got the drums and the hand claps. The hand claps have carried on into this second verse, probably. Okay, a sudden transition to a new texture here. Yeah, not nearly as many reverbs going on in this album as you might expect, but there's a little bit of jangly stuff, a little bit of jangly reverb on the guitar in this section, but really not much. And the bass is still very much dry, doing a totally different thing to the previous section though, except in harmony respects. Yeah, so the guitar here I think is doing what it was doing in the dancey section, but the harmony and the rhythm and the melody, they feel more connected to the verse section. So there's a little bit of a disconnect there. The guitar doesn't seem to be following the harmony so cleanly. It's still in the same key, but it's just jangling off in its own way. Oh, we just got a building sound between sections. Boom. Nice. Very good. Okay, we'll come to the rest of that when we finish the song. I can't understand half of this structurally. Okay. So we've got those kick drums come back with a really heavy click on them, and we've also got cymbals, but sort of the cymbal hit is diminished because that click comes through on the kick drum so strong that it mutes everything else due to the limiter, I guess. So we get this kind of kind of feel to what's going on, which is, yeah, a little disorienting, but fun things. feels like there's either piano or synthesizer fighting through in the back there. Yeah, just up there, kind of range. It is actually just the guitar, isn't it? Ooh, that was an unexpected note. A flat. I think we've had it a couple of times in here, but yeah, it's a little bit out of the key. It's the flat 2 of the key, and it would be, yeah, putting us into a Phrygian kind of area. And it might come up from time to time, but it's a little unexpected, especially that we've just jumped in on it there in the bass, in a new section.
Gold Rush.
Unexpected. We got three beats there. Gold Rush, and we got Gold Rush with the disconnected voices again. A bit of a pause, and then we're in with something else.
Gold Rush.
That was weird. That really felt like it was based on those triplets. Weird, sudden rhythmic displacement, because we were based in the semiquavers before that, and now we're in the triplet semiquavers. But then that stopped again, and we've got some more vocals. Same thing again. And we're off. Some very off guitar that sort of sorts itself out there. Weird. And you can hear really clearly here that we've got that hi-hat ticking going on while this is doing a totally different rhythm. So they feel all really off with each other. So this feels almost like it's a chorus now. By me, I'm on fire. Because we've had a few repetitions. But has that happened before in the song? I don't really think so. We've had similar melodies over similar harmonies, but it seems like the structure here is not based on having different material in different sections, but more the combination of different elements, and occasionally to do with having an absence of those two. Affected vocals, I heard those there, I heard those. We got affected vocals, and amazingly, I mean, this is a terminal here, even if it's mostly material we've heard before. Annoyingly, we didn't get a fade in. We kind of did, we almost did, but we didn't, and I'm not going to force it. And then a sudden end, no fade out. Wow, odd stuff. Yeah, we really only had one main chord sequence there. Now it's more complicatedly played than that. There's a few things that jump through that are slightly different, but that's basically the chords that we had throughout the whole song. We had some sections that didn't have that change, like the one that the dance section. Which was based more around something like that happening in the guitar, which is static chord-wise, harmony-wise. And then what else did we have? So yeah, so those two main things were sort of set out at the beginning as two different sections, but then they merged later on, and we got much bigger sectional difference when it was the vocals coming in for their specific thought, which happened a lot towards the end, just before the outro coda slash chorus, first time we heard it. Just before that we got a lot more of those, but we did also get one at the beginning, between two versions of the main guitar material. So this structurally doesn't fit at all into a verse chorus kind of situation. Really hard to define sections, so we'll definitely do poorly defined sections. Hybrid sections, definitely. Coda kind of has multiple sections, sure, let's say so. No pre-chorus really. Second chorus doesn't exist, so we can't put second chorus longer. Metallic synths, no, we couldn't really hear any synths if there were any. One moving part in verse, no, is kind of wrong, because the guitar is a specific thing to listen to moving, and even the bass kind of is as well. One moving part in bridge, well, what do we call the bridge? Hard to say. We did have, I guess, a hook. Yeah, alright, let's say there's one moving part in the hook. Didn't get a verse chorus repetition, so I think that's that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, we got very close to having lines in both of these, I think, but we didn't in the end. I don't think I have the wherewithal to go through another 4-minute piece, and I don't feel confident enough to jump through album at the moment. I think I might update the model for my analysis at some point in the future, so we're not just going through the album, although that has its merits, it really does. It's just such an intense experience, whereas I could potentially do a bit more work beforehand and come up with some specific songs to show on the album, but that would require active listening in my free time, which means doing more work, doesn't it, really? And I already do quite a lot of work, so I'm not convinced this is a good idea, but whatever. I think I'm done for now. Water from Your Eyes, we had a look at 2 complicated songs and 1 intro piece of music, and there was a lot to talk about. I hope that you got some worth out of it. I certainly did. It was much more guitar-y than I was expecting. If you listen to Structure is much more synth-based. Everybody's Crushed, I would say, has more samples on it, although it is very relatively varied instrumentation-wise. And there are some guitars on somebody else's song, but they are mainly acoustic, I think. Anyway, what an interesting band. Really cool guys. And they love Californication is one thing I heard. And I don't know whether that's really true, but they keep getting promoted by Stereogum a huge amount, don't they? I don't know if I forgot her name. Rachel Brown, is it? That is an impressively straightforward name. Yeah, Rachel Brown. I don't know if she's actually working for Stereogum, but she was interviewing people like Flavor Flav, which was extraordinary. Anyway, that's just some other stuff. Go and have a nice life and have a nice day while you're at it. Bye bye. Love ya.